Hi, my name is Connor Brownell, and I'm going to be talking about the 100 Years of Einstein's Gravity lecture that happened a month or so ago. So basically, I was interested in this because I saw the movie Interstellar, and it had some very interesting physics in it, and I thought it was really cool. So I did some reading on my own, and I thought this lecture would be a good opportunity to further my knowledge on a subject that I was already interested in. So the presentation basically discussed two subjects of Einstein's special and general relativity, black holes and gravitational waves. So they did a little detail on each of those, each of the presenters did. The black holes specifically, they showed a model of what happens when two black holes get really close and they start orbiting around each other faster and faster and faster. And then for gravitational waves, they sort of explained how we hope to detect them and the very detailed mechanics of that and the laboratories they have in multiple places across the world. So I thought specifically the part about detecting gravitational waves is very interesting. Specifically the precision with which they had to detect the things using these light rays that they would shoot over, I think, miles of track. And then it would come back and it would reflect off a bunch of different mirrors, and it would come back, and based on the distortion of the wave or the timing difference, based on what they expect, they'd be able to detect the presence of gravitational waves and the period of the wave and certain things about it. So I thought that was very interesting. Also, I did some reading after seeing this lecture. I actually got the book A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking, which is like a brief, and it sort of explains some of the very basic introduction to Einstein's relativity and physics, the history of astrophysics up to this point. Something specifically I found very interesting about that, not necessarily related to this lecture, but sort of going off of that, something called light cones, that sort of a way of representing past events and future events through the context of a ray of light that is at a specific location. The past light cone is all the possible locations that this ray of light could have been, and then the future light cone is all the places it can be. I thought that was a very interesting, kind of detailed way of predicting the future and explaining the past in terms of this ray of light. Now, that's a very brief introduction. I don't really understand that much about it because it's really modeled in 3 dimensions with a 4th dimension for the where the event is actually occurring in terms of time. So it's rather complicated, and that's the very basics. But I thought that was something that was very interesting. So thanks for listening, and I hope you learned something about light cones.